Hey guys, Anthony 4x4 Diesel, and this video will follow the previous video. Well, if I remember to release it out straight after the other one. So the client's seen the video with all that information. We've had a discussion on the phone, and obviously there's a number of different options. Leaving it at 160,000 and 14 years with being completely unknown wouldn't be wise, we agreed, but with the injector readings and everything, so good, it's kind of like, you know, so it's really between a rock and a hard place. So what we've decided is we're going to go in there, do some work, have a look and see the condition of everything, and if we can work out if things have been off before. And so far, looking at things like those clamps there, they look in very good condition, and I would say that they are so good, they look like they have not been off, because generally people over tighten those, and as I've discussed in other videos, sometimes you have to. I just want to give a couple little tips before we go any further, because damage has been caused by people trying to do the right thing, but you're not doing the right thing. So the engineering of this crankcase ventilation breather pipe, so inside here is your built-in filter system, which is why you don't need a catch can. Only oil or water, which is what it's evaporating from the engine, which will not hurt your intake. Perfectly good. It's actually good for it to go into the intake. There's that little of it, it's not even going to make any difference. But look, we're not going into that in this video, that's in other videos. But the problem is, the standard Toyota system is you've got the pipe and you've got the hose with no clamps. Now the fact that the hose clamp's been added and really tight and crushed the hell out of the rubber, it's actually damaged and cutting into the side of the hose here. So the clamp will need to be removed. That hose will need to be replaced, in my opinion, with the original one. In another video I said they're only about $8 or $10. Well, guess what? That was years ago that I brought one. They're about $30 now, so it's an expensive mistake of wasting your time and putting a clamp on there, and we've got the same problem down the other end. Now the other thing I've noticed is there's all these dents in the pipes. I don't know if someone's put it in a vise or it's had a catch can, or this has come, I don't know how that's got dented like that, but I've noticed those dents. And there's also a clamp that's been added on the hose down there. That bottom hose there and this top one does not have clamps. They're just a nice interference fit. There's no pressure there. They certainly do not need a clamp, so please don't put the clamp there. This valve cover so far, from everything I can see, to me looks like it's never been off. That's what I think. That now he's done an E-jar clean himself, okay? There was no plate put in there. I think he's purchased a plate. He might be going to do that or something. Because let's have a look in there right now. He didn't clean the manifold, but I'm not sure if he even looked at the manifold or what the case was. But I'm just going to give you a quick look, right? Right, so if you look at it from this angle, see what I mean? It's hard to get the camera in there, but you can see the shape of the port. So that's good. That's kind of like, you know, over there in that dark hole there area is pretty good. The worst of it is kind of like up around, you know, see this build, it's not even, look, to be quite honest, in this video, looking at the screen there, it doesn't look too bad. But there's a build up there, we'll pull quite a bit of mess out of there if we clean it. Again, it's up to him if he wants us to clean that. Clean this little end of the E-jar cooler here and vac it out a little bit. Obviously we'll have a quick look at the E-jar, but our main thing at focus at the moment is taking note of all nuts and bolts and everything. Look, and all the injector alignment's good, like factory. So this could be one of those amazing ones that the readings are just bloody awesome. So from what I've seen so far, there's no reason why we're not going to be able to reuse the injectors and the fuel pipes if that's what he wants to do. So there's going to be minimal parts being replaced, you know, just the seats and the few other bits and pieces, all the single use only components. So we'll get on with the job. Let's have a quick look at the E-jar before we do. So that was cleaned a couple of years ago, I'm told. So that's what it will look like on a 140,000k vehicle if you clean your E-jar. And in 15 or 20,000 k's, whatever it's done, is what it'll look like again. And you obviously know what it looks like. We've seen plenty with a plate in there with a 7mm hole, and everything stays clean, alloy in colour. It just reduces the actual flow of the E-jar a little bit. And you can see the build up at this end starting. Okay, so you can see all the build up around there, which is what's leading into the manifold. So once again, it's up to him if he wants us to clean this or put it on as it is. So what we'll probably do is try and somehow send him the video or some photos of this, just to let him know where it's at. We'll do that now, and we'll continue the video and let you know what we find and what the conclusion is. Right, so we've got the fuel pipes off. This side of the fuel pipes, not too bad. You can see the debris that sit underneath there. right? But we can have a look through. There's the next one, the next one. But then you get to this one, and this is what, you know, see all the rust and corrosion, and have a look. Do you really want that anywhere near your injectors, you know? So it just already gets me thinking, you know what, I don't really, you know, well, if we're going to reuse this and put it back together, keep the injectors and the pipes that have, I believe so far, never been off. You know, we're going to clean it up, but it's just, doesn't matter. It looks bad, but, you know, you could say, it doesn't matter, just slap it on, mate. But put it in the comments, what do you reckon? Just slap it, clean them up and slap them on, or just replace them? Just replace all the injectors, do the job, you know, once in 14 years, do it right. What do you guys reckon? Everybody loves to see their engine. So this is for the client to show him how his regular oil changes have paid off, keeping inside the engine and all the components nice and clean and well protected. Now, there's something different about this one. Normally, not always, but usually we clean the perimeter of the head before we take the injectors out, just our pre-clean thing. But while we're trying to keep the injectors clean as possible, that's one of the things we don't want to stir up or upset anything. The key is getting the pipes off, the seals out, the cover off, injectors capped, and getting them out before there's any risk of contamination. So what we're going to do now, we're going to continue on to some cleaning. So we're going to clean the rest of the EGR elbow and that intake manifold. Not take the manifold off, you know, the little bit at the start of the manifold there that doesn't look so good. We'll clean all that up properly so that we know it's in reasonably good working order. Check all the valve clearances, clean all the seats, while we suss out with the client whether we're reusing injectors, pipes and all that, which we can certainly do, even though they're quite dirty. Let's go and have it. So I mean, have a look. This is what I'm talking about when I mentioned compression tests, and you can't really do a compression test that's going to be relied upon, because I don't know if you can see, it's a bit hard to see what's going on down in there, but anyway, it doesn't matter, right? We'll go and have a look at these injectors. So here's the injectors and the components on the bench, okay? And we've got things like, you know, the bolt upgrade is something we can do. These washers are all single use only, they need to be replaced. We'll get the injector seats off soon, have a look at those and how close they were to leaking. But it's good that it looks like they haven't been leaking, they weren't stuck, and it hasn't got the contamination from carbonised oil, from oil leaking past these O-rings, from these seats leaking down the bottom here. So that's good. But I just want to point out, I mean, see where the pipes go on and all that dirty rust and corrosion. Now see, the caps, we don't want to push them on and push dirt. So we've got a cap in place, hopefully stopping anything going in there. But when they're a bit tight, we don't want to mess around and force it on too much and push any of this contamination. It's kind of a temporary cap. If we're reusing these injectors, what I'm about to do is give them an external clean up without getting anything inside there, and then we're going to clean that area with them facing down and give them a bit of a flick, and any fuel that's in there will come out and push any debris out of the injector. So I'm quite confident that we can keep the situation clean. We're going to have to spend some time, all the fuel pipes will need to be cleaned up because we're not putting those things anywhere near these now that the seal is cracked. And I can confirm from the serial numbers, these injectors were manufactured in July of 2007. Is that right, mate? Did I just say it right? Did I remember? Yep. So we got it backed up from the other expert here. There's two experts here. July 07, which means they are definitely the original injectors. We can spin it over and you'll see that. See that? Often that is the stamp you'll see on all these injectors. If you see that, that means 99.9% that is your original injectors. If you don't know, obviously you don't know that from the serial numbers how to read it. It's a pretty simple but complicated code, and maybe that's our little secret. Maybe that's in the VIP group, you know what I mean? Anyway, that doesn't matter. What matters is I cannot explain why these injectors and their readings are behaving just like new ones. It's very uncommon, is an understatement. This is just, if I looked at these readings, I'd say to someone, these injectors are all like new. So look, as an R&TU, and for the client to save money, I'm happy to reuse these injectors and pipes. So what I'm going to do is get in contact with the client, perhaps even send him a video on it, and confirm what he wants to do, and we'll let you know what we're doing and how it all turns out. Because unfortunately, these are those circumstances where it could end up as a poor man pays twice, if you know what I mean. So he's not a poor man, but it's a saying. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? These are 14-year-old injectors. You can see the age of them, the rust and corrosion, and how everything is. So at this point, we might have a bit of a look around at a few things, but we might just make this a short video so we can send this off to the client and get a decision on moving forward exactly what we're doing here. And then there'll be another video on the conclusion. So thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. Smash that like button, subscribe, turn the bell on for more helpful information. Thanks for watching. Catch ya.